21, San Francisco issued only 2,000 permits for new homes. Sure, there are people living in the streets, but that's because we want to make sure the apartments they don't live in are perfect. I don't fear AI anymore because it couldn't possibly be any more robotic than the humans who run things now.
Bill Maher has finally reached his breaking point with the woke left, and honestly, I can't blame him. In a recent episode of Real Time with Bill Maher, the sharp-tongued comedian unleashed a scathing critique of the progressive obsession with bureaucracy that's choking America's environmental progress. True to his signature style, Maher didn't just criticize, he roasted them, exposing how the left burns through mountains of money while accomplishing next to nothing. It was a blistering takedown that left no room for excuses or spin. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's dive right in.
It's that we're not allowed to. Of course, there should be consideration of the environment on everything we build, but as so often happens on the left, they seem to have no ability to recognize when they've taken a concept way too far and are in fact hurting their own cause. America's become Gulliver, the giant that got tied down with 1,000 tiny ropes by Lilliputians, the horde of little people who do big damage. Build back better? Sounds good. So does shovel-ready jobs. Yeah, exactly.
Maher opened his critique by calling out the woke left for smothering America's progress under layers of red tape and needless bureaucracy. He argued that the much-celebrated Build Back Better plan, pushed by the Biden administration, was never truly designed to build or improve anything. Instead, it became a tangled web of procedures, committees, and endless paperwork. A shining example of how government inefficiency can masquerade as progress. According to Maher, every step forward required a mountain of forms and a maze of approvals, turning innovation into exhaustion. In the end, he claimed, the plan would have done little to help ordinary Americans and far more to enrich bureaucrats and contractors profiting from the chaos.
He said one of the biggest lessons he learned as president was there is no such thing as shovel-ready projects. Environmental impact statements used to be a few pages long. Now they're thousands of pages of legalistic nonsense and take an average of 4.5 years to complete, with thousands of bureaucrats filling out millions of paper forms that kill hundreds of forests to answer the question, is this good for the environment? In San Francisco, the city's so nice you'll step in poop twice.
Obama had campaigned enthusiastically on the promise of shovel-ready projects, vowing to jumpstart America's infrastructure the moment he took office. But that vision quickly fell apart when he later admitted, somewhat sheepishly, that there were, in fact, no shovel-ready projects at all. The reality was buried beneath layers of regulations and endless environmental reviews. Even today, the woke left's fixation on the Environmental Impact Statement, EIS, continues to stall major developments, such as the Keystone XL pipeline extension under the Biden administration, a project that could have struck a balance between progress and environmental protection. Ironically, the government's supposed commitment to saving the planet results in massive paper waste each year just to produce these sprawling EIS reports. It's a textbook case of bureaucracy sabotaging the very goals it claims to advance.
Homeless people were urinating and defecating, and it was starting to annoy the people breaking into cars. So the city tried to build a public toilet last year, but then gave up when the cost hit $1.7 million. Not $1.7 million for a public toilet system, $1.7 million for one toilet. And this wasn't some magic toilet that catches your phone when you drop it. So then a private company took pity on San Francisco and offered to build them their toilet for free. But after, quote, project management, construction, management, architecture, and engineering fees, permits, civic design review, surveys, contract preparation, and cost estimation, the free toilet was still going to cost almost $1 million.
And that's exactly where our collective frustration stems from. During the Biden administration, even the most straightforward projects became ensnared in a suffocating maze of bureaucracy, turning progress into an exercise in futility. It was a time when paperwork outweighed productivity and red tape replaced results. One of the many reasons the DNC ultimately lost the confidence of the American people and was voted out of office. Citizens grew tired of watching their tax dollars vanish into administrative voids. Take something as simple as building a public toilet. What should have been a quick and affordable project turned into a bureaucratic nightmare. Endless permits, environmental reviews, zoning meetings, and inflated contractor fees drove the cost to nearly $1 million before a single brick was laid. That isn't governance. That's government in chaos. What the nation needed were doers, innovators, and problem solvers. Instead, it got a system paralyzed by process, where talk was cheap, action was costly, and true progress became nearly impossible.
Be proud of being impossible. Asked about the toilet, a spokesman for the Department of Public Works said, "We are a city of public input." Okay, but I'm stepping in public output.
The open defecation crisis in San Francisco has reached a shocking and deeply embarrassing level for a city that prides itself on progress and compassion. Once celebrated for its vibrant culture and charm, many of its streets are now tainted by the stench of human waste, a visible symbol of governmental failure. Despite residents' pleas for action, the local government remains ensnared in a self-made web of bureaucracy. Every proposal to build public restrooms gets buried under endless environmental assessments, funding arguments, and procedural red tape. In the meantime, ordinary citizens are forced to navigate sidewalks that reek of neglect and misplaced priorities. It's a stark illustration of how overregulation can suffocate even the best intentions. People don't want excuses or paperwork. They want clean, safe streets and a sense of restored dignity. Yet as long as the city remains paralyzed by its own inefficiency, San Francisco's most basic human crisis will continue to unfold, not behind closed doors, but right out in the open.